Hello, everyone, and welcome to Tinderloss Gaming, and welcome to episode 1 of my new playthrough of Arkham Horror the card game. I've entitled this series Solo Scenario Shenanigans. The basic principle of this playlist or playthroughs is to play through a number of the Arkham Horror standalone scenarios. So these are not campaign scenarios, these are scenarios that have been released by Fantasy Flight as standalone. You could just play them for one game night, or you could put them into a campaign. It's entirely up to you how you want to play them. They're scenarios like Curse of the Rougarou, which I'm going to come back to in a second. We've got Carnival of Horrors. We've got The Blob That Ate Everything. We've got all sorts. And I'm going to play a number of those. Don't know how many yet. We'll just see how it goes. And the general idea is to take some investigators through each of those scenarios and see how they do. I am going to be playing true solo, which means just with one investigator. But that in itself draws some difficulties in deck design, etc. And disclaimer here: I'm not a pro deck designer. But yeah, that's the general principle. So without further ado, let's get across, first of all, to what I mean. Go into a little bit more detail about what I'm actually doing. So I've pulled this together, and it's going to be a sort of scenario tracker, just for me, just for fun, just to see how I do. And you can see on here that the Curse of the Rougarou is the first standalone scenario that I'm going to be playing, and that's what this episode is about. And I'm going to be taking 2 investigators through solo. So first game, I'm going to play with Jacqueline Fine, abbreviated from this point onwards to Jacky. And I'm going to just keep a track of how much XP she earns, because in standalone scenarios, you do have the opportunity to earn XP. It will make no difference to Jacky, because I won't be spending that XP. And again, I'll come to that when I go through the deck. And really, how many rounds it took each investigator to either complete and successfully, achieve the scenario, or what round they died effectively. And with my rolling and my pulling from the chaos bag, the latter is probably going to be more common than not. An Arkham Horror is known for its its deadliness. It's not a game where you win every single time. So I'm bound to lose some scenarios whilst we play through this. So Jacky is going to be our first investigator, and then who's a mystic. And I'll go through her deck in a minute. And also we're going to be taking Zoe Samaras through. So 2 sort of different investigators. A mystic, and Zoe is an all-out guardian, killing machine, loves a machete, loves a knife. And we'll just for different gameplay. So we'll come back to this at the end of the first scenario with Jacky, and we'll see how she's got on. But let's go across now to what I've put together as her deck list. Now, a link to this deck is in the description. So if you want to pop along to Arkham DB and have a look at what I've pulled together for Jacky, we'll see where it takes us. So we are going to be playing Jacqueline Fine, and we're going to be using some experience in this deck. I've used, there is a mechanism for you can use up to 10 XP, and you can spend that XP however you want in line with her deck building requirements. But also you have to take additional weaknesses. So I've taken 19 experience, which means I've had to add in 1 extra weakness for her to play with. And I've drawn those out. I've put them in the deck. They were drawn randomly. She's got Dark Future, which is her own weakness, which is down here. Just get to it there. I've got Nihilism and Psychosis. They're the 2 I randomly drew. So let's go through Jacky's card. First of all, she's got 5 will, she's got 3 intellect, she's got 2 for fight and 2 for evade. So she's not particularly great at fighting and evading using those stats. However, she becomes very good at it when you start using her main stat, which is Will. She has a reaction on her card. That basically, what it means is when I'm going to be pulling chaos tokens out of the bag, I can pull extra chaos tokens and cancel 2. So if I'm drawing 1 token, I drew an extra 2. It's a total of 3, and I can cancel 2 of them. It's quite cool. Very good mechanic. She's got 6 health and 9 sanity. I think the 6 health is going to be a problem. I'll try to mitigate it a little bit in her deck, but working through the limited card pool that I have, because I don't have everything that Fantasy Flight have released for this game. I've not got the full access to card library. I've had to go with what I've got, really. I can't really negate that 6 health. Well, we'll see how it turns out. So what have we got? We've got 2 lots of Book of Shadows, which is the 3 experience version. I can, first of all, I have an additional arcane slot, which is going to come in handy for Jacky. And also, as an action, you can add 1 charge to a spell asset that she controls. Very good. We can keep topping stuff up if we need to. We've got Ritual Candles, which is after I draw any of the symbol tokens other than the auto fail, I get +1 skill test for that skill test. I've got the 5 XP, 2 Ritual Candles, sorry, 2 Azure Flames, the 5 XP version. So I've burnt 10 XP on 2 cards. It's got 4 charges on it. I can spend an action to fight. I use my will instead of my fight. I get +3, so I'm at 8, dealing +2 damage. And if I draw an Elder Sign, a +1 or a 0 token, I take 2 damage, which could be a bit of a nightmare. But I can use Jacky's ability to try and negate that. But doing like 3 damage to an enemy is huge in this game as a single hit. I've got 2 lots of Clairvoyance. Again, standard version, cost 4. Spend, it comes in with 3 charges. Spend a charge to investigate. Again, using will instead of my intellect. And again, if I succeed, I discover 1 additional clue. And if I draw an Elder Sign, a +1 or a 0, I take a horror. I've got Mists of Rylea. And evade. I wanted something in there that could get Jacky out of a pickle if she needs to. So she can evade using her will instead of her agility. And again, I can, if I'm succeeding, I can evade and move to a connecting location. Again, if I draw a symbol, then I have to choose and discard a card from my hand. I've got 1 level 0 shriveling and 1 level 3 is shriveling. So the level 1, well, let's go through the level, is it level 2 or level 3? Can't see, it's level 3. Comes in with 4 charges. I can fight with it. It uses my will instead of my fight. Get +2 will, dealing +1 damage. But if I reveal a symbol, you can take a horror. You can see what's sort of coming here. I've got Holy Rosary, which is gives me +1 will, and it's also a couple of sanity pips as well. I've got Robes of Endless Night. Again, put that in there really for a couple of reasons. Mainly 2 health. I'm trying to give Jacky a bit of a buff on her health. But also, when I play a spell card, I can exhaust it to reduce the card's cost by 1. So pretty decent all-rounder for Jacky. But the 2 health was more the thing there. I've got David Renfield, who's an ally. Cost 2. Comes in again, mainly for the 2 health and the 1 sanity. I can put Doom on him to give him +1 will. Depending where I am in the game, I might not need the +1 will. It's always handy, but I'm not necessarily sure I'd like to be placing Doom on him for that. But again, he's mainly in there for the health. I've got the Familiar Spirit. 1 health, 1 sanity, gives me an additional arcane slot. So again, with the book out and the cat out, I've got 4 slots for spells. We'll see how that goes. We've got Jacky's sort of special asset, which is the Arbiter of Fates. When I use her ability, basically, I don't exhaust her to use it for the first time. So she would get to use it twice. So that's a really, really cool card to get in. We've got Drawn to the Flame, which is some of my clue gathering bits and bobs. So take a card from the encounter deck, discover 2 clues at your location. We've got Hypnotic Gaze, again, a little bit of a get out of jail free card. But so when she's playing, when an enemy attacks her, I can cancel the attack and I can then actually deal its damage to itself if I draw in a symbol. We've got Uncaged the Soul, which is, in my opinion, one of the best Mystic cards going. It's just a straightforward 0 cost, reduce a spell or ritual card by 3. I mean, it's just ridiculous. Voice of Ra gives me some additional resources to get my spells out. And then we've got a couple of Ward of Protections. They're not the 0 XP versions. Again, we can cancel a non-weakness treachery card, and then we can take a horror as well. But also it's got a wild icon on it as well. So that's where we are at with Jacky. Like I say, the link to the this deck will be in the description. So if you want to pop over to Arkham DB and have a look, then you're more than welcome to. So with that very longish intro, let's get over to the table and we'll see where we're at. See you in a sec. And here we are at the table. So what are we doing? We're setting up. Let's go through a few things first of all. Let's first of all find out exactly what we're doing. So let's bring up the scenario details. And that says Terror grips New Orleans. First of all, actually, we're playing Curse of the Rougarou. Terror grips New Orleans. Mini Klein, your contact at Arkham Advertiser, has slipped you a draft of the article over a cup of coffee at Velma's Diner. It would have gone to print had Doyle Jeffries, the lead editor, not scoffed at the concept. I believe his exact words were, "I ain't printing no ravens and some voodoo lunatic and passing it off as news," she explained. From the sly grin spreading across her face, she could tell she smelled a story. The headline was sensationalist. 3 killings in 9 days was enough to spook a town, sure. But you doubt all of New Orleans is gripped by terror, or even knows about the killings. Still, something piqued your interest. Lady's Spirit, the voodoo priestess from the article, claimed that a malign curse had taken root in the bayou. "There's something to this, isn't there?" "I know that look," said Minnie said. "You weren't sure. If Lady's Spirit was right, this Rougarou wouldn't stop killing at 3, that's for sure. But curses? Wolf people? How could such things be real? Only one way to find out. You put your coat on and head for the Northside Station." So there we go. That's sort of set up our little scene. So let's go into the actual setup of the game. First of all, we're playing it on standard. So the chaos bag has been set to standard. It says, gather all cards from the following encounter sets: Curse of the Rougarou and the Bayou. These sets are indicated by the following icons. So we've done those. Step the Curse of Rougarou encounter cards out. Set them aside, out of play. They're over here. They're ready to go. Sort each of the locations into 4 piles by traits: New Orleans, Riverside, Wilderness, and Unhallowed, which is what we've done there. Randomly choose one of these piles and remove these games remove these locations from the game. So we've got a D8 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's a 7. 7, 8. The Foul Swamp is not going to be coming into play in this game, so we'll put that to one side. Randomly choose another one of these piles and put those locations into play. All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1. So we're going to be starting off with the Forgotten Marshes. So that one can go out of play completely. And these 2 other locations could potentially come into play. Well, I'm sure they will. So these, I'll set those up in a second. Set aside the following cards: Lady of Spirit, Bear Trap, and Fishing Net. They're out of play. Shuffle the remainder of the encounter cards to build the encounter deck. Well, I've done that, but we will just shuffle on screen, just so we can all be good. Cat Weasel Cut. That's our encounter deck. These come into play, and they're basically like a little triangle. Make sure we can do that. And these are all connected like so, using my LCG tokens connectors. They're connected like that. We start play at the Forgotten Marsh in the bayou. That's that. We're ready to start. So let's put those to one side. Next thing, let's have a look at our agenda. First of all, so agenda 1A. It says, a creature of the bayou. After arriving in New Orleans the next day, you start your investigation by asking the locals what they know about the recent killings. As you suspected, most know very little of the incidences. You do manage to find several eyewitnesses who give similar descriptions of the creature: its lithe, muscular form, lanky arms, and wolf-like visage. A promising start. But if there is any truth to these rumours about this curse, you'll have to talk to Lady of Spirit herself. And this has got 5 doom, or will flip when it hits 5 doom. So we've got a 5 doom limit there. That's the agenda. And then we've got the act, which is finding Lady of Spirit, Act 1A. According to your contact, Lady of Spirit is a voodoo priestess who lives deep within the bayou. Most tend to stay clear of her lonely shack. After all, the bayou can be a dangerous place, even were it not for the recent rash of savage killings. Objective: only investigators at a bayou location may spend the requisite number of clues as a group to advance, and it's got 1 clue on it, so we need to find 1 clue. Now, final bits of setup. You can see in the top left-hand corner, I'm keeping a little track. So we're on 6 health. We've got 9 sanity. Currently starting with 5 resources. We've got no clues. We've got no doom on it, and we'll keep a little round tracker as well. We've got our actions down here. I'm using the tokens again from LCG. I'm going to just tap those when we use actions. And this token down here is just going to denote whether I've actually flipped Jacky or not for her special ability. So the final thing we need to do is just give our actual deck a shuffle. Again, these have been shuffled off screen, but for matters of transparency, we'll give them a shuffle on screen. Then we'll give them a cat weasel cut. And we'll draw our opening hand of 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we are going to get Familiar Spirit is definitely a keeper. Sorry. Familiar Spirit, definitely a keeper. We've got Hypnotic Gaze, probably a goer. We've got the Azure Flame, which is going to be a keeper. We've got the Robes of Endless Night, which is going to be a keeper. And we've got a weakness, so we put that to one side and we draw another one. Hypnotic Gaze is going to be gone as well. So we're going to mulligan the 2 Hypnotic Gazes. We're going to keep those 3, and we're going to get Holy Rosary, very nice. And we're going to get Dark Future, that's going to go. We're going to Ward of Protection. That's our opening hand. These go back in and get shuffled. Shuffle those weaknesses well away. And a cat weasel cut. There we go. We've got our opening hand. Right, we are ready to go. We're on round one. Well, I think we're going to pay first action. We're going to pay 1 for familiar spirit. Takes us down to 4 resources. Second action, we'll pay 3. Second action, pay 3. Robes of Endless. Oh, no. Wrong one. Robes of Endless Night, which is lovely. So we're down to 1 resource. Oh, we should have flipped over the Forgotten Marsh. My apologies. We'll flip over the Forgotten Marsh. And that's a 2 shroud, 0 clues, forced. When you leave Forgotten Marshes, lose 2 resources. Ouch. Don't really want to do that. We've got 1 action left. I think for my final action, I'm going to gain a resource. So we're going to go back up to 2 resources. Sorry, that was the investigation phase. Getting ahead of myself here. Too excited to play the game. So that was the investigation phase. We miss the mythos phase in the first round. So we're straight into the investigation phase. We then move on to the enemy phase. No enemies in play that we need to worry about. So we can move straight through to the upkeep phase. In the upkeep phase, we reset our actions. We reset our actions. We ready any exhausted cards, which we don't need to worry about doing. We gain a resource. So we're up to 3. We draw a card. Mists of Rylea. Very nice. We check our hand size. Maximum of 8. We've only got 4, so we're good. We move out of the upkeep phase. We go into round 2. We go into the mythos phase. At that point, we place a doom on the agenda. That goes up by 1. 1 of 5. We draw a card from the encounter deck. We're going to get Spectral Mist. Spectral Mist says attached to a bayou location, limit 1 per location. Each skill test performed at attached location gets +1 difficulty. Test intellect of 2 to disrupt the source mist. If succeeded, discard it. So that's going to go on Forgotten Marsh. We move out of mythos phase. We move to the investigation phase. Continuing a little bit of setup, I think. I would like to spend most of my resources. I'm going to use my first action to spend 3. To play the Azure Flame. That comes in with 4 charges. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's our fighting spell, should we need it. So we've used all of our resources. We're down to 0. Second action, we're going to move. One of these, having played this scenario before, has got a clue on it. The other one hasn't. So let's, I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Just going to move down to this location. Now, coming out of the Forgotten Marshes, I would actually have lost 2 resources, but I haven't got none to lose. We're going to flip the wilderness card, and this is going to be 3 shroud, 1 clue, gain 2 resources, and take 1 horror for an action. Very nice. So that's Jack. That was her second action. Well, we currently haven't got clairvoyance. We would be going to 3 versus 3. I think I'm going to take a risk here. Oh, I should have tapped. Apologies. I should have tapped Endless Nights. It's going to make no difference to reduce the cost of that by 1. I'd have had 1 resource moving out, so I'd have still lost. I'd have lost a resource effectively. I'm still good. Need to remain Robes of Endless Night. Okay, so third action, I'm going to investigate at the Twisted Underbush. I am going to chuck a ward of protection in, just to give me the wild symbol. So I'm currently 4 versus 3. 4 versus 3. How's the chaos bag being today? 4 versus 3. -4. -4. Okay, that's how the chaos bag is being today. That's fine. That's fine. That was my third and final action. So we move out of the investigation phase into the enemy phase. Currently, still no enemies in place. We don't need to worry about that. We move into the upkeep phase. We reset our actions. Ready any exhausted cards. I should have remembered Jacky's blinking special where I could have pulled 3 tokens out. We'll remember that for the next attempt. Ready any exhausted cards. We gain a resource. So we're up to 1. And we draw a card. Voice of Ra. That's going to be very handy. That's going to be very handy. That's it for the upkeep phase. We'll check our hand size. We're at 3, so we're all good. We move to turn 3. We add a doom. In the Mythos phase, we check to see if it's going to trigger. It's not. It's 2 of 5. Then we draw our encounter card, which we get Dragged Under. Test agility 3. If you fail, add Dragged Under to your threat area. When you leave your current location, take 2 damage and discard Dragged Under. At the end of your turn, test agility 3. If you succeed. This has caused me problems in the past, Dragged Under. So I can show you Jacky's special here. We're going to do a test of 3. Do I? Test of 3 against 2. No, I'm just going to do a straight test on it. There's reasons. We need a +1. We get a -2. So that comes into play in my threat area. When you leave a location, you take 2 damage and discard it. Might come back to bite me, that one, but there we go. So that's it for the Mythos phase. We go into the investigation phase. Need to get this clue. We need to get this clue. So it's a 3 versus 3 at the moment. So I will investigate. I will use Jacky's special ability to draw an additional. I'll read what it says. When an investigator at your location would reveal any number of chaos tokens, reveal 2 additional chaos tokens. Of the revealed tokens, choose and cancel 2 non-auto fail tokens or 1 auto fail. So effectively, we're going to be drawing 3, cancelling potentially up to 2. So 1, 2, 3. So we've got a -4, which we can cancel. We've got a -1, which we can cancel, leaving us the -1. We fail. Okay, so second action. We're going to play Voice of Ra. Oh, do I? Should have used Jacky's symbol with it. No, I'm not going to do that. Second action, I'm going to gain a resource, taking me to 2. Third action, I'll spend those 2 resources. I'll take that one away. Play the Holy Rosary. So we spent our 2 resources. And that was our third action. Sort of stuck at the moment, but there we go. At the end of my turn, test agility 3. If you succeed, drag down, don't discard it. Well, I'm agility 2, so I do need a +1. We do need the +1. There's +1s in it. -2. So I don't get rid of that. Enemy turn, no enemies in play. We can go through that. Upkeep phase, we ready any exhausted cards. Jacky's ability comes back online. We gain a resource. We draw a card. Another Voice of Ra. Could do a clairvoyance. I really could do a clairvoyance at the moment. That's it for the upkeep phase. We check our hand size. We've got 3, which is all good. We move into round 4. We add a Doom on, which takes it to 3 of 5. Lost face. 3 of 5. Check it. We're all good. We draw our encounter card. Ripples on the surface. Test wheel 3. For each point you fail, take 1 horror. If you're at a bayou location, you cannot commit cards at this skill test. We're not. This is the bayou location here, so we should be good. So test of 3. I'm 6. 6 versus 3. I'm not going to use Jacky's ability. So 6 versus 3, and we're going to get a +1. If this effect is boom, boom, boom. +1. If this effect is cancelled or ignored, draw a card. We're not going to ignore it, but we do pass it. That's Ripples of the Surface has gone. So we move on to the investigation phase. Okay. 3 actions in play. Right, first things first, we'll investigate. We'll use Jacky's ability. 3 versus 3, drawing 2 additional cards. Come on. I've got no cards to chuck at it. Their agility and 2 will, all the icons. So we're drawing 3. 1, 2, 3. Oh my God. -2, -3, and -5. We will cancel those 2, but still leave these at -2. So we've still failed. Can't get that. Oh, they should have put a clue on there. That's probably why it's not coming off. There's no clue on there. Second action, gain a resource. Third action, let's use those 2 resources to play Mr. Riley. Play Mr. Riley. Mr. Riley has got 4 charges. And it says spend 1, use an action, spend 1 charge, evade. We use our will instead of our agility. If I succeed, then we get to move to a location, a connecting location. And also, if we reveal a symbol, we have to choose and discard a card from our hand. It's just a bit handy just in case we need it. That was my third and final action. I'm stuck getting this clue. Anywho, that's it for the investigation phase. We move to the enemy phase. Oh, no, we test the dragged under. Agility 3, or tested 3, agility 2, so we need a +1. That is a skull, which is a -2, -4 if we're not if we're at a bayou location. We're not. It's just -2. We still don't manage to get rid of dragged under. Enemy phase, nothing in play. We don't need to worry about that. We then move on to the upkeep phase. We ready our actions. We exhausted cards. We gain a resource up to 1. And we draw a card. Clairvoyance. Come on, clairvoyance. Arbiter of Fates. That's pretty good. That might help us. That might help us. Right. Okay, we move out of the upkeep phase. We go into round 5. We put a Doom on there. So we're at 4. And then we draw our encounter card, which is going to be a Swamp Leech. Spawn any bayou location. Swamp Leech cannot be evaded. Forced. When Swamp Leech enters a non-bayou location, discard it. Hasn't got a hunter or anything like that. The bayou location is here, the Forgotten Marsh. That's not too bad. We move on to the investigation phase. Right, first things first. We're going to play Voice of Ra. First thing we do is we gain a resource. So we go up to 2. It then says reveal 3 random tokens from the Chaos bag. For each symbol, you gain an additional 2 resources. We will spend Jacky's ability to do that. So we're going to be drawing 5 tokens. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's a symbol. So we've drawn, we'll cancel those 2, which means we've drawn those 2, or those 3, 2 symbols. So we get an additional 4 resources. She's in the money. 4 resources there. So we're at 6. We'll spend 3 of those immediately on my second action. 1, 2, 3. To bring in Arbiter of Fates. Which is we can actually do Jacky's ability twice, but we've already done it to get that out, but we're down at 3 resources. Need to get that bloody clue. Need to get the clue. So let's just have a 3-on-3 investigate. Hope we get lucky. 3-on-3. There are positive ones in here. 3-on-3. 0. Yes. Yes. Oh, finally, we get the clue. A little bit out of time, though, because I know what's coming next. So that was her third and final action. So at the end of her turn, we're going to test Dragged Under. 2 versus 3. 2 versus 3. 0 again, but we don't get rid of it. Then what we're going to do... Oh, right, we're going to move Voice of Ra because I've used that. We're going to come out of the investigation phase. We're going to go into the enemy phase. The Swamp Leech has not got Hunter, so he's going to stay there. And then we're going to go... There's no other enemies in play. So we're going to go into the upkeep phase. We're going to ready any exhausted cards. We're going to move our actions back. We're going to gain a resource. So we're up to 4 resources now. We're going to check our hand size, which is 1. So we're all good. We're going to come out of the upkeep phase. We're going to go into round 6. We're going to add a Doom, which takes it to 5, which means that this agenda is now going to kick in. So we're going to move to agenda 1B, which is a violent storm rolls in as your search continues. Black rain clouds conquer the sky, the air thick with humidity. You recall that all of the recent killings took place late at night under the cover of dark clouds. A shiver runs up your spine, and you cannot help but wonder, what if you're next? Shuffle the encounter discard pile into the encounter deck. If the Rougarou is in play, find a non-bayou location with the fewest clues. No, the Rougarou is not in play. If the Rougarou is not in play, after advancing agenda 2A, add 1 doom to that agenda. Okay. Okay. So we're moving on to 2A, which is the Rougarou feeds. Around you, the bayou feasts. Flesh rips and jaws snap just beyond the trees, and light droplets of rain ripple upon the surface of the water. You can't exactly tell where the sounds are coming from. Perhaps it's the dreadful ambience of the bayou itself. So we're going to take off 4 of those doom and leave 1 on, because we haven't got the Rougarou in play yet. We haven't managed to get the blinking clue out, but there we go. So we are down to 1 doom on the agenda. So that's that. Sorry. We're in the mythos phase. Let's just turn some of these bits and bobs off. We'll go back to there. So we're in the mythos phase, which we've done. We've done the agenda. We're going to draw our encounter card, which is Cursed Swamp. Test will 3. Each point you fail, take 1 damage. If you're at a bayou location, you can't commit cards. Well, we're not at a bayou location. So we're going, we are 5, 6 with the Holy Rosary. So 6 versus 3. -1, we pass. So we don't take any damage. We then move on to the investigation phase. Okie dokie. Right. First action. Jacky is going to move to the Forgotten Marsh. Then what we're going to do, it's not an action. We are going to then act out Act 1, which is objective. Only investigators at a bayou location may spend the requisite number of clues as a group to advance. So we're going to spend our 1 clue. We've spent that. We're going to advance the agenda to Act 1B. It says, finding Lady Spirit Shack is no simple endeavour, but eventually you spot the decrepit shanty, or I should have, my apologies, that should have been shuffled in to the encounter deck. I'll do that. I've got that still up on screen, but there we go. That's shuffled, and that was the one I drew. Sorry. Finding Lady Spirit Shack is no simple endeavour, but eventually you spot the decrepit shanty through the mist. Lady Spirit greets you as you enter, not at all surprised by your intrusion. She claims that the Rougarou was once a man cursed by a being known as Shub-Nagrath. Well, we've come across that little thing before. Into the form of a great wolf. She believes that she can lift the Rougarou's curse from the bayou, but only if the creature is destroyed. Put the set-aside Lady of Spirit into play at a bayou location. So Lady of Spirit is going to come into play at the Forgotten Marsh. Oh, as we enter the marsh, the Swamp Bleach is going to engage us. Let's put him there. Put into play each set-aside location plus the set-aside Rougarou enemy into play at a non-bayou location. Shuffle the encounter discard pile on each encounter from the curse of the Rougarou. The lead investigator reads the following out loud. As you leave a Lady of Spirit Shack, a terrible sickness courses through you and you drop to your knees. The lead investigator puts the set-aside Curse of the Rougarou weakness into play into his or her threat area. Okay. I'm going to do a whole load of stuff in a sec, but let's just finish off this bit first. So that was Act 1B. We're now on to Act 2A, which is hunting the Rougarou. The Rougarou is somewhere within the vast bayou. You must track it down and destroy it, lest the beast's curse consumes you as well. Forced. After the Rougarou leaves a location, place one clue from the token bank on that location. Objective. We have to destroy the beast. If the Rougarou is defeated, read Resolution 2. An objective, maybe there's another way. While an investigator is engaged with the Rougarou, he or she may choose to advance, limit once per phase. So, that's Act 2, Let's go back. So there's a little bit for me to do now in regards to setting up the location. So I'm going to pause the video there. I'm going to do what I need to do, and then I'll come back. So for you, it'll probably be a matter of milliseconds, but for me, it'll probably be 10 or 15 minutes of sorting out and getting all stuff sorted. But anyway, I will pause the video and come back in a sec. Right, that's the setup complete. So we've put the Cursed Shores into play here. We've put the Riverside set into play over here. Similar to the other sets, they're a little triangle, so I can move from the bayou location to another bayou location. So these three they are connected like that. Are they connected to each other? Yes, they are. So those two are actually connected as well. So those form a little triangle. Those form a little triangle. Can go there, go there, go there. And we've spawned the Rougarou up in the top right-hand corner in the Riverside area. What else have we done? We have put the Curse of the Rougarou weakness. This is a complete pain. Put it into my threat area. At the end of your turn, if you've not dealt any damage, take 1 horror. That is a ticking time bomb. So we need to do damage. I was thinking, I've got 2 actions left. I'm engaged now with the Swamp Leech. I was actually thinking about using Mr. Rylea to try and evade it. But there's 2, and that would mean I would move actually for free action. But I know how much Curse of the Rougarou is a pain. It ticks over quite quickly. The Swamp Leech is only fight 4, but it's only got 1 health. I could Azure Flame it, which seems like a bit of overkill. But then I would be doing damage, so I wouldn't be taking anything from Curse of the Rougarou. So I think that's what I'm going to do. For my second action, I am going to fight with the Azure Flame. So I spend a charge. I moved, so Dragged Under comes into play. So I discard it and I take 2 damage. I'll put 1 damage on Endless Night and take 1 myself. So I'm down to 5. So that's gone. Thank goodness. And then I'm fighting with the Swamp Leech. It's a fight 4. I'm currently 5, 6. I will tap Arbiter of Fates to do Jacqueline's special, which is drawing 3. Cancelling 2. So we'll draw 3 out. 1, 2, that's 3, I think. Oh, that's 4. I didn't see any. So we'll cancel. Right, this is quite interesting how this is working. So it says reveal 2 additional tokens. On a reveal token, choose and cancel 2 non-auto fail or 1 auto fail. So I'll cancel that one. So that leaves us with these 2. I'm at 6 versus 4, which is a pain because that's a -2. And it's for the Rougarou or location, reveal another token. And that is -1. So that's -3 in total. That's annoying. That's annoying. So I've failed. Because that's a -3 in total. Takes me down to 3 versus 4. That was my second action. I don't really want to use all of my Azure Flame on it. I just want to use that to kill the Rougarou. Not done any damage. All right, third and final action. I'll do what I said in the first place. I'll use Mr. Rylea. Spend 1 charge, evade. This uses our will instead of our agility. So it's got an agility of 0. It's a dash. It says Swamp Leap can't be evaded. Can't be evaded. Can't be evaded. Right, third and final action. Azure Flame it. I'll use Jacqueline's ability for the second time because of Arbiter of Fates. Drawing 3 tokens. 1, 2, 3. Oh, for goodness sake. Second blinking time. This game is not being kind to me. It is not being kind to me. Right. Okay. That's all I can do. That was my third action in the investigating phase. We then move to the enemy phase. Swamp Leech is going to bite me for 1. So I'm down to 4. The Rougarou is aloof. Oh, I should have shown you his card. Leaning across the microphone. This is the Rougarou. He's got 3 fight, 5 health, 3 evade. He's aloof. He's got retaliate. He hits for 2 sanity and 2 damage. As an additional cost for an investigator to engage the Rougarou, the investigators must spend 1 clue as a group. 2 clues if there are 3 or 4 investigators. That's fine. After the Rougarou takes 1 damage during a single phase, find the location furthest from all investigators. Move the Rougarou 1 location at a time until it enters that location. I have triple checked some of the stuff before I played this scenario. Azure Flame does do its full damage, and then it moves. But we'll come to that from when we get there. Right, okay. That is it for the enemy phase. Nothing else is moving. We've been bitten by the Swamp Leech. We're then going to move into the upkeep phase. We're going to ready any exhausted cards. We're going to gain our actions. Oh, Curse of the Rougarou at the end of my turn. Apologies. I'm going to take 1 horror. So I'm down to 8. Can't miss that bad boy. We've drawn, we've readied our actions. We've exhausted cards. We're going to gain a resource. So we're going to go up to 5. We're going to draw a card. We get Uncaged the Soul, reducing the spell or a ritual card by 3. We're going to move out of the upkeep phase. We're going to move into turn 7. We're going to put 1 Doom on the agenda, taking it of 2 of 6. We are then going to check to make sure the agenda doesn't go forward. It doesn't. Then we're going to draw our card, our encounter card, and that's going to be Swamp Leech. Any bayou location can't be evaded. So we're going to put it either there or there. So Cursed Shores is 1 to 3. Riverside is 4 to 6. That's a 6. Good old 7 TV. That's going to go there. That's annoying. Okay. That's it for the Mythos phase. So I should have put that up. We'll move on to the investigating phase. I'm going to waste all of my Azure Flames on 1 flipping Swamp Leech. Right. Okay. First action. Azure Flame. The Swamp Leech. We are going to activate Jacqueline's ability. So we're going to tap Arbiter of Fates. We're going to draw 3 cards. We're not going to draw 3 cards. We're going to draw 3 tokens. 1, 2, 3. Finally, -6 will ignore. We'll ignore that. +1. We don't draw a card because we're not ignoring this. So we actually finally kill that Swamp Leech. We have done damage, so we're not going to take anything from the Curse of the Rougarou. That's my first action. We're going to do the action whilst we're here on Lady's Spirit. They basically heal for 2 damage. It's exhaust her. Exhaust Lady's Spirit and deal her 1 horror. Heal 2 damage or gain 2 resources. We'll do that. We'll heal 2 damage back up to 6. Back up to 6. That was my second action. So now back to full health. Third action. I'm not going to move. I need to be taken on the Rougarou. If I leave the Forgotten Marsh, I'm going to lose resources. I've got nothing to pay for them. Third and final action. I'm going to draw a card. Okay. Psychosis. Add it to my threat area. After I take 1 more or more horror, take 1 direct damage. 2 actions to discard Psychosis. At least it's out, I suppose. At least it's out. That was my third and final action. Curse of Rougarou doesn't kick in because we did do damage. We dealt damage to that flipping annoying Swamp Leech. We move into the enemy phase. The other Swamp Leech hasn't got Hunter, so it's just going to stay there. And also the Rougarou is aloof over at the riverside. We go into the upkeep phase. We ready our cards. We gain our actions. We gain a resource. Probably afford to lose 2 now, to be fair. We're up to 6. We're going to draw a card. Going to get Ward of Protection. Play when you draw a non-weakness treachery card. Cancel that revelation, then take 1 horror. Okay. Remember that, MB. Remember that. We move out of the upkeep phase. We've done everything. We move into round 8. We place a Doom on the agenda, so we're now 3 of 6. Keep forgetting to put the Mythos phase up. We're 3 of 6. We draw our encounter card, remembering that we've got Ward of Protection, should we need it. So we're going to draw this, and it's going to be on the prowl. Search. Find a non-bayou location with the fewest clues to move the Rougarou 1 location until it enters that location. Now, that is very handy. I'm not going to cancel that one. So, what I'm going to do is this Swamp Leech here is basically guarding that entrance into that area. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. And then 1 of these. 1 to 3, 4 to 6. That's a 6. So it's going to go into that New Orleans area. What it does as it leaves, it's going to drop a clue there. It's going to drop a clue there. And it's going to drop a clue there. Okay. That's fine. On the Prowler's got Surge, so we're going to draw another card, remembering we've got Ward of Protection, so we're drawing another card. Cursed Swamp, test 3 will for each point. We'll take that. We're not going to use Ward of Protection. So we are 6 versus 3 with our Holy Rosary. 6 versus 3. -2. We pass. Cursed Swamp goes. We've still got Ward of Protection should we need it later on. That's it for the Mythos phase. We move into the investigation phase. Well, this is going to be really quite a simple move, methinks. First 2 actions are to remove Psychosis. Such an annoying card. Nice, simple, basic weakness, but very effective. And then third and final action, we're going to head towards the Rougarou, knowing we've got a clue on here if we need it. So we're going to move into the Cursed Shores, which is a 1 Shroud. Action, take 1 damage. You get +2 to your skill value for the next skill test you make this turn. Forced, when you leave Cursed Shores, choose and discard a skill card from your hand. So that's that. A Shroud of 1 is good for our clue. That could be handy. That could be very handy. Now, that was our 3 actions. Curse of the Rougarou hits at the end of our turn. We've not dealt any damage, so we take a horror. Actually, doesn't say direct horror, so we'll put 1 horror onto the Holy Rosary. That's it for the investigation phase. We go into the enemy phase. Swamp Leech is hanging out. Rougarou is hanging out. We don't need to worry about anything else. We then move into the upkeep phase. Oh, I should have lost 2 resources. Apologies. Just caught it. Moving out of the area there. So we're down to 4 resources. In the upkeep phase, we'll ready our actions, ready any cards. We gained one of those resources back, so we're back up to 5. We draw a card. We get Ritual Candles. After a symbol, any symbol is revealed during a test, you get +1 for it. That's quite handy. We've got nothing in our hands as well at the moment, so that could be quite cool. That could be quite cool. We check our hand size. We've got 4. We're all good. We move out of the upkeep phase. We move into round 9. We put a Doom on the agenda. Takes us to 4 of 6. Takes us to 4 of 6. We're in the Mythos phase. We've done that. We draw a card, remembering MB that we've got Ward of Protection. So we've got a Bog Gator. Prey lowest agility. When Bog Gator is in a bayou location, it gets +2 fight and +2 evade. Well, it will be doing that. So we will spend 1 resource to play Ward of Protection. Play far when you draw a non-weakness treachery card. Oh, that's not a treachery card. That's not a treachery card, MB. So we'll take our resource back. We're still on 5. Bog Gator will come into play with us. Okay, that's still fine. That's still fine. We're all right. We're okay. We're okay. Going to move to the Mythos phase. We're going to come out of the Mythos phase. We're going to move to the investigation phase. First things first, we're going to spend 1 action to evade using Mists of Rylea, the Bog Gator. I'm currently at 6 versus 2. 6 versus 2. Actually, do I want to fight it? No, I want to save my Azure Flame. I know it sounds daft, but doing +2 damage, 3 damage to the Rougarou, I could kill it quite quickly. So I'm going to invade it. It's only a 2 fight. That's the reason why I'm thinking about it. It's only got 2 health, and I would be doing the Curse of the Rougarou. I'll be doing damage to it. Do we use the Azure? No, I'm not going to. I'm going to do Mr. Riley as I've just said. So we're going to evade it. I will spend and tap Arbiter of Fates to pull 3 tokens. Right. Okay. 2 versus 6. Minus the skulls are -2, -4 if you're at a bayou location. I am at a bayou location, but I am 2 versus 6, so I can take it. So 2 versus 6 -4 is equal, which means I do evade it. So the bog gator gets evaded. That was my first action. Second action is to investigate. 3 versus 1. 3 versus 1. I will spend Jacky's to pull 2 additional resources, 2 additional tokens. 1, 2, 3. Oh, how did that get in there? I'll cancel the -1 and the 0 to give me a +1, which means we get the clue. So Jacky gets a clue to hit the Rougarou. I didn't, in my Mr. Riley, it says when you succeed, you may choose to go to a location. I'm not, so that's fine. But now for my third action, I am going to move in to here, to New Orleans, and reveal this, which is going to be Broadmoor. 3 shroud, 1 clue, victory 1, and we can resign there as well. We can't catch the beast. You make your way to safety, letting the beast roam free. Well, we're not going to do that. So that's comes in with 1 clue on it. So that is it for Jacky's turn. Curse of the Rougarou here is going to kick in. So I will take that on the chin, down to 7. Didn't do damage. We move to the enemy phase. The Rougarou is aloof, so he's not currently engaged with me. The bog gator isn't going to attack, but he is going to ready. So he's currently there in the cursed shores. The swamp leech is hanging out. Oh, we should have. Oh, we'll do that in a minute. Okay, my apologies. I'm getting a bit ahead of myself. He's not an enemy. So enemies are fine. We've done that. We're going to go to the upkeep phase. We're going to ready our resources, get our actions back. Lady of Spirits readied. We gain a resource. So we're now at 6 resources. We draw a card. Clairvoyance is very handy at this time. Is very handy. We then go into the Mythos phase. We're going into round 10. We add a Doom. 5 of 6. 5 of 6. We're going to draw. Going to draw a card for the encounter phase. Ripples on the surface. Test agility. Test will of 3. Each point you fail, take 1 horror. If you're at a bayou location, you can't commit cards. Well, we are 6 versus 3, so we're just going to do it straight. Straight, not using anything. So 6 versus 3, +1. Mwah. That's better. So we don't take any horror. Right, we then move into the investigation phase. First action is we are going to engage with the Rougarou. We're going to spend our clue, taking us down to 0 to engage him. That's our first action. Our second action is to Azure Flame him. Tap in Arbiter of Fates, so that we're going to be doing, we're going to be putting 3 tokens. So we are currently 5, 6, we are 9 versus 3. Put in 3 tokens, 9 versus 3. 9 versus C, we'll cancel those 2. We'll leave the -4 in play. 9 versus 3 takes us down to 5 versus 3. We hit the Rougarou for +2 damage, so we hit it for 3. And those 3 go through. Immediately, he's going to bounce to the location that's furthest away. So, he's going to go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's going to be one of these 2. 1 to 3, 5 to 6. 5, so he's going to go there. So he bounces across the board. He's going to leave this location. 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 So that was my first action was to engage. Sorry, my second action was to hit him. I've got 1 action remaining. I will play Uncage the Soul. Play when a spirit or a spell or a ritual card from your hand, reducing its cost by 3. And we're going to play Clairvoyance. So we're going to play 1 for Clairvoyance, just in case we need it. So paying 1 for Clairvoyance takes us down to 5 resources. It comes in with 3 charges. And that was our third action. Quite successful. Quite successful. What we wanted to do. So we move to the enemy phase. The Bog Gator hasn't got Hunter, so it's going to continue to hang out there, as is the Swamp Leech, as is the Rougarou. No other enemies in play. We move to the upkeep phase. We ready? We get our actions back. We gain a resource, so back up to 6. Yeah, back up to 6. We're going to draw a card. Robes of Endless Night. Well, that's handy. That's very handy because we can pop a damage on it. Oh, actually, end of my turn. I did do damage to the Rougarou. So Curse of the Rougarou is not going to eat me. To bite me. Curse of the Rougarou. We've done that. Regained our actions. We check our hand size. We've got 4. That's the end of the upkeep phase. We're going to move into the Mythos phase. We're going to go to round 11. We're going to put a Doom on the agenda, which is going to take it to 6. Which is going to flip it. So, it's going to flip. So, let's have a look at agenda 2B. That says, a clash of thunder roars through the sky and you reel in pain from the sudden explosion of noise. Your vision doubles and bile leaps up your throat. A lone howl returns the call of the sky, echoing throughout the bayou. You wrench yourself off the muddy ground and find your bearings, unable to shake the feeling that you're running out of time. Shuffle all copies of On the Prowl from the encounter discard pile into the encounter deck. I think there's only one. Yeah, there's one. So let's put that in there. Give it a shuffle. We'll do a cat weasel cut. If the Rougarou is in play, find a non-bayou location with the fewest clues on it. Move the Rougarou one location at a time until it enters that location. Okay. Now, I could move it to the wilderness, which is closer to me. Or I could move it to that location up there in the top right hand corner. Now, do I want to be gamey or not? Let's let the dice decide. I feel a bit bad putting it there. So I'm going to go 1 to 3, 5 to 6. 1 to 3. It's going to move to there. As it comes out of that location, it's going to put a clue on there, and it's going to put a clue on the Forgotten Marsh, and it enters into the wilderness. That's it. So we now go, we remove all doom. That takes us back to 0. That says, tendrils of slime ooze from the bogs, crawling over the tree roots and grasping at you as you pass. The air hangs heavy with a noxious heat. You feel as though you're sinking deep into the bayou, sinking beneath the heaviness of the black sky and the rank mist. At the end of the investigation phase, if not engaged with an investigator, add 1 doom to this agenda. Oh, God. Okay. Right. Fine. Okay. We're still in the mythos phase. And so we're going to draw our encounter card, knowing that we have got ward of protection for a non-treachery weakness card. So let's draw that and see what we get. Cursed Swamp, test will 3 for each point we fail. Well, we're going to do a straight up test for that. We know we're at 6 versus 3. 6 versus 3, and we're going to get -3, 0. So we don't take any damage. Okay, we move on to the investigation phase. I did check as well whilst I was paused. Azure Flame, although it's got no charges on it, it doesn't say discard it, so it can stay in play just in case I get Book of Shadows out or something like that. So I'm not going to discard it. I'm going to leave it there for the time being. We've got an additional hand slot here, so we're all used on our slots at the moment. Now, thinking what we're going to do here is we're going to move. Yeah, I think what we're going to do is for our first action, we're going to move, which means the bog gator is going to engage us. We're going to spend a charge of Mists of Rylea to try to evade it. We're going to tap Arbiter of Fates to do the 3 tokens for the evade. Three tokens for the evade. So it is 2. And we're using our wheel, which is 6. So it's 2 versus 6. We're going to cancel the cultist. We're going to cancel the -3. the -2, which means we pass, which means we do evade it. So that's evaded. Mr. Briley also says, if you succeed after evading the chosen enemy, you may move to a connecting location. I will. I will move here. That was my second action, wasn't it, to evade it? So I've got one action left. I'm at the Forgotten Marsh. It's a Shroud of 2. So we are going to investigate the Forgotten Marsh. We are going to use Jacqueline's ability to pull through targets. So we're currently 3 versus 2, pulling 3 tokens. What on earth is that doing in there? 3 tokens. So we're going to ignore that one. We're going to ignore that one. We're going to do a 0. So we're 3 versus 2, which is fine, which means we get our clue. We get our clue. So we're at 1 clue. That is it for Jacky. She's used her 3 actions. We've done everything. We go into the enemy phase. We're not engaged with anything. There's no hunters. Swamp Leech is hanging out. We will ready Bog Gator. Snapping at our heels. Okay. That's it for the enemy phase. We're going to move on to the upkeep phase. We're going to ready everything we need to ready. I don't know if you can hear that, but sorry, somebody, my next door neighbour's flipping revving his motorbike. I don't know if you can hear it or not. So we're going to ready our actions. We're going to gain a resource, taking us to 7. We're going to draw a card. Shriveling. That is brilliant. That is brilliant. Right. Okay. Fine. We're going to move on. We're going to go to round 12. We're going to add a Doom in the Mythos phase. 1 of 8. We're going to draw our encounter card, which is a Bog Gator. Okay. That's going to come in engaged. Oh, that's annoying. Oh. Okay, no, we can still do this. We can still do this. That's it for the Mythos phase. We move into the investigation phase. It's just going to slow us down a little bit, I think. Okay. First action. We're going to do Mists of Rylea on the Bog Gator. So we are 6 versus 2. We will tap Arbiter of Fates to pull 3 tokens. -2, +1, -5. We'll cancel the -2 and the -5 to give us the +1, which means we do successfully evade the Bog Gator. Who's going to go there, like so. Now, because we successfully evaded, we are going to move with Jacky to the wilderness. We know that Forgotten Marsh reduces us by 2 resources, so we're going to go down to 5. That was our first action. Second action, I'm not currently engaged with the Rougarou. So for my second action, I'm going to pay 3. 1, 2, 3. To play Shriveling, replacing the Azure Flame. That comes in with 4 charges. Now, do I engage it? No, I think I can. I think I can not. I can not worry about that. So that was my second action. Sorry, that was my second action. Third action, I'll pay 1 to play ritual candles. Oops. Down to 1 resource. Play ritual candles. I can get a +1 to the skill value if I draw a symbol. That's a hand. We're all good. We're all good. That was my third action. Now, a couple of things kick in. Curse of the Rougarou. I haven't done any damage this turn, so I am going to take a horror down to 6. Also, at the end of the investigation phase, if the Rougarou is not engaged, I'm going to add a doom to the agenda. So that's going to go up to 2. That's going to go up to 2. So that's the end of the investigation phase. We're going to move on to the enemy phase. The Rougarou is aloof, so he doesn't engage us. Everybody else is just going to chill out in the bayous. This guy is going to ready up here. We then move on to the upkeep phase. We're going to ready any resources. We're going to get our actions back. We're going to gain a resource. So we've gained a resource. We go up to 2. We're going to draw a card. We're going to get Hypnotic Gaze, which is fine. I think that's it for the upkeep phase. That is it for the upkeep phase. We move into the Mythos phase. We put a Doom on the agenda, goes to 3. We're in round 13. Around 13. And then we're going to draw our encounter card. We draw our encounter card, which is dragged under. Now, this is a treachery card. So we will pay 1 to play Ward of Protection. Fast, play when you draw a non-weakness treachery card. Cancel that card's revelation effect. Take 1 horror. I will take the horror on Jacky, so she's down to 5. And we cancel that card's effect. We then move into the investigation phase. This is what it all comes down to. Right, okay. First action. I'm going to spend a clue. Down to 0 clues. To engage the Rougarou. And then we're going to spend a shriveling to attack it. So we are currently 5, because it's using our will. 5, 6 for the Holy Rosary. So it's 6 versus 3. We will tap Arbiter of Fates to pull 3 tokens. Three tokens. We will cancel the cultist. We will cancel the -6. We will do 0, which means we hit it. And it does +1 damage. So we do 2 damage to the Rougarou, killing it. And there we go. That's the scenario. Turn 13 for Jacky. We have 1 victory in the victory pile because there's no clues on the Twisted Underbush. There is clues on Broadmoor over here, which would have been another victory. So there we go. Jacky is successful. She's killed the Rougarou, done 5 damage to it. Right, let's get across to the scenario tracker and we'll just wrap up. Okay, there we go. Jacky has been successful with 1 XP. She's got a win, and that was in 13 rounds. So, next episode is going to be Zoe trying to replicate and beat Jacky into killing the Rougarou. So, I hope you're enjoying this playthrough. I hope you're going to enjoy some of the upcoming standalone scenarios. If you would like to help me achieve my goal of 500 subscribers, I've given myself 6 months to try and get from 132, which is what I'm currently at, to 500. Subscribing to the channel would be really appreciated. And if you've got any comments and spotted any mistakes, which there are bound to be, and I'm probably now about to edit this video and spot that I've made a fatal error, but hopefully not. We're all good. Thoroughly enjoyed playing that. Decks seemed to work really well. Mists of Rylea, actually, I was a bit dubious about putting that in. But in that particular scenario, evading the enemies and getting the free move really helped us be successful there. So I'm a big fan currently of Mists of Rylea. And then getting the shriveling out just when we needed it to give us the +1 damage. That was good. I was hoping to get into like Book of Shadows or something like that, or draw another Clairvoyant, another Azure Flame, but shriveling just as good. Anyway, really enjoyed playing that deck, and I really enjoyed that playthrough. I hope to see you on the next episode, which will be Zoe taking on the Rougarou. But anyway, that's me for now. Ta-da!